It was July 18, 2018, and I was so excited. I would soon be leaving for my favorite vacation spot ever, Mackinac Island. I hopped out of bed and ran downstairs to wake my parents up. After getting everything packed, we left for the 3.5-hour drive that awaited us. What seemed like an eternity later, we had arrived at the Sheplers Ferry docks, where we would get our tickets to board. Around 25 minutes later, drenched in water and on the verge of seasickness, we had arrived. According to Brian Manzullo, in an article published by the Detroit Free Press in May of 2018, TripAdvisor named Mackinac Island the #1 vacation destination in America. This island is a vacation destination for over 1 million people annually. I have been here over 10 times myself, and I have experienced all of this for myself. I have gained my info from very highly credible sources, and I have done lots of research. Today we are going to take an in-depth look on Mackinac Island and what it has to offer. First, let's bridge the gap between the history of the island and what it is today. Second, we'll take a carriage ride around the island to discuss the many experiences that the island has to offer. Third, we will discuss the Grand Hotel, which is a one-of-a-kind experience of its own. Let's start with the history of this beautiful island. MackinacCity.net, which I accessed in November of 2020, outlines the history of the island. In 1671, Father Jacques Marquette began European settlements in the Straits of Mackinac. After a few years, this mission was moved to what is now present-day Mackinac City. Fort Michilimackinac was built, and here this was a storehouse for the Great Lakes fur trade. During the American Revolution, though, Fort Michilimackinac was dismantled by the British. The British moved to Mackinac Island, where they built a new fort called Fort Mackinac. As a result of the American victory in the Revolution, the fort and island became property of the U.S. Around 40 years later, war on Mackinac occurred. The British planned an attack on the U.S., and the U.S. had to surrender without a fight because they were caught so off guard. This caused Britain to gain control of the island and the fort. After the war ended, peace negotiators were able to win back the island for the U.S. Mackinac National Park was created, the Grand Hotel was built, and the island's first candy kitchen was established. Now that we have discussed the history of the island, we'll discuss the many experiences that the island has to offer. I have gained my information on these experiences off of MackinacIsland.org, published in June of 2020. Seeing that the island is a major historic region, it has many historical sites that you can visit. The Biddle Home, which will allow you to transport back to the time of the fur trade, Fort Holmes, British Landing, and so much more. A distinct characteristic that makes Mackinac Island unique is the fact that there are no cars allowed on the island. How do others get around, you may ask? Well, there are horse-drawn carriages that are used to take people around the island. There are many bike trails that you can bike around. For example, there is an 8-mile bike trail around the perimeter of the island, which will allow you to see a scenic route of the Straits of Mackinac. You can also ride through the hidden trails of the island to visit many historic landmarks. With all of this exploring, you're bound to get hungry. Let's start with what Mackinac Island is most famous for, their fudge. Mackinac Island has a copious amounts of fudge kitchens where you can watch and buy the fudge being made. Some of these selections include Ryba's, Joann's, Kilwin's, and more. Mackinac Island is also home of America's oldest grocery store, Dowd's Market. Here you can find fresh deli selections, fruits, veggies, and even pizza. The dining experience here is like no other. You can access restaurants ranging from the Seabiscuit Cafe to the Great Toledo Brewery. Now, speaking of island experiences, the famous Grand Hotel, located on the island, offers a one-of-a-kind experience of its own. This hotel dates back to 1887 when it first opened its doors. According to Michigan.org, in an article published in August of 2019, this hotel has the longest front porch in the world, stretching all the way to 660 feet long. History is well kept within the island, being celebrated by embraced architecture and preserved charm. Based on the info I found on GrandHotel.com, published in September of 2020, the Esther Williams swimming pool is 220 feet long, providing for a relaxing poolside experience. There are also daily events on the front lawn, beautiful gardens to explore, and nightly dancing with professional jazz bands. The dining experience here is like no other. There is a 5-course meal, a 5-star meal served every night by experienced culinary professionals. Dressing up for dinner is a tradition requiring men and women to dress in their best past 6 p.m. Today I discussed the history of Mackinac Island and how it came to be. We took a trip around the island to explore the many experiences that the island has to offer. Finally, we discussed the Grand Hotel and the experience that it has to offer. Mackinac Island provides unforgettable destination experiences for over 1 million people annually. So what are you waiting for? Don't miss out on these once-in-a-lifetime opportunities with your friends and family. Thank you.